let's talk about that bug in your brain. You know the one. It's like this invisible script that's always running in the background, whispering, not yet, and just filing all your best ideas away in some folder labeled someday.
So, you see the path forward, right? You feel that spark of excitement, but your feet just feel like they're stuck in concrete. Welcome to Smiling Cottage. The reason I'm sharing this with you today is because that feeling, that frozen feeling, it's not a character flaw. It's just a glitch in your system. And the good news is, we can totally fix it. I want you to think of your mind like a computer, okay? It has its own mental operating system. And right now, it's probably running on a bunch of default rules. Rules you never even realized you agreed to. So today, we're going to roll up our sleeves, we're going to find and we're going to debug the 3 most common errors in that code.
So here's our game plan. We're going to look at 3 critical bugs: the right answer trap, the fear of success, and living in their eyes. And then we'll get to the really good part, the fix. It's a simple 1-line rewrite that can honestly change everything. All right, first up, bug number 1. This is the bug that our entire education system pretty much installs in us from day 1. You know, we spend more than a decade in school, and what's the one rule they drill into us? Get the right answer before you do anything. It's why choosing a career path can feel like absolute torture, right? We're searching for that one right choice. But here's the problem. For anything that really matters in life, like a new business, a creative project, the life you actually want to build, there is no answer key. This is backed up by some incredible research from the Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck. So she did this experiment where she praised one group of kids for being smart. You know what happened? They started avoiding challenges. They were terrified of making a mistake and losing that smart label. But then you have the other group, the kids who were praised for working hard. They were the total opposite. They weren't afraid to take on harder stuff because for them, learning was way more important than just looking good. So here's the big takeaway from all this. That feeling you get, that I just need to think it through a little bit more, most of the time, that's just a disguise. You're not actually planning, you're waiting. You're waiting for some kind of guarantee, for a perfect right answer that, let's be honest, is never going to show up. Okay, let's move on to our second bug. And this one, well, it's going to sound completely backward, but trust me, it is incredibly powerful. I mean, fearing failure, that makes sense, right? We all get that. But what about fearing success? There's a name for this. The psychologist Abraham Maslow called it the Jonah complex. It's that voice that makes you hesitate before applying for that promotion you know you're qualified for. We literally run away from our best talents, not because we're scared of failing, but because deep down, we're actually afraid of what happens if we succeed. Maslow put it perfectly. He said we get these glimpses of our highest potential, and instead of just feeling pure excitement, we feel this shiver of fear. We're actually afraid of the person we're capable of becoming. And you might be asking, why? Why would we be afraid of that? Well, because success comes with a price tag. For one, you lose the right to be invisible. Suddenly, people are watching. 2, you have to carry the weight of accountability, of expectations. And maybe the scariest one of all, you lose all your excuses. You can't hide behind, oh, I could do that if I really wanted to anymore, because you did it. And that leads us right into bug number 3. This is the big one. This is the one where you just outsource all of your power to everybody else. The issue here is what I call a priority error. It's a simple glitch in your mental code. Somehow, the question, what will people think of me, has been dragged and dropped to the top of the list, right above the much more important question, what do I actually need to do? Your focus on your image has completely hijacked your focus on taking action. And let me tell you, this bug is expensive. It's like having this super heavy program running in the background, just slowing your entire system down. It makes every single choice a little more conservative, every step a little more timid. It just fills your best ideas with all this noise, all this external judgment before they've even had a chance to take a breath. Okay, so here's where it all comes together. The right answer trap, the fear of success, and living in their eyes. They all run on the exact same fuel. And that fuel is a deep, deep terror of uncertainty. We're trying so hard to control things we simply can't. The action, the final outcome, and what other people think of it.
This is such a brilliant analogy for the problem. It comes from immunology, and it's called the hygiene hypothesis. The idea is that kids who are raised in these super sanitized, germ-free environments actually end up with weaker immune systems because their bodies never learn how to fight anything off. Well, it's the exact same thing with our minds. When we try to sanitize our lives of all uncertainty, of all risk, we end up with a weak, fragile psychological immune system. So the big question is, how do we fix this? The good news is, we don't need some massive system overhaul. We just need to find and rewrite one single critical line of code. Let's look at the story of Sara Blakely, the billionaire founder of Spanx. Growing up, every single night at the dinner table, her dad wouldn't ask, "So, how was school?" Nope. He'd ask her, "What did you fail at today?" And if she actually had a failure to report, he'd give her a high five. He was literally debugging her mental operating system from the time she was a kid. Think about what he was doing. He wasn't trying to change her behavior. He was rewriting the definition of failure in her code. See, for most of us, the default code reads failure equals humiliation, which means stop. But her new code, it read failure equals I tried something, and that is something to celebrate. Same event, completely different code, and a completely different outcome. And that's the fix. It starts with one simple question you ask yourself every single night. Now, this is not about beating yourself up, okay? It's about changing the entire goal. The goal is no longer to avoid failure. The goal is just to try. Asking this question is proof that you're in the arena, that you're taking shots, that you're building up that psychological immune system. So I want you to ask yourself tonight, what did I fail at today? Because if the answer is nothing, it probably means you didn't really try. All right, that's a wrap for this episode. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who needs it. This is Smiling Cottage, and I'll see you next time.